Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. I just finished eating and I am so full. So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to sit out here and talk to you guys about what's been going on in my head, about what's going on in our country. I really wish that MAGA supporters, Trump voters, would understand what is now going on, how they were duped, and they need to admit that, because what's going on is just absolute unconstitutional criminal behavior, and he's unhinged and he lies, but he knows that what he says you will listen to. He knows that if he starts propaganda, you will listen to it, just as like eat the cats, eat the dogs. He knows that you're going to listen to him, that you're not going to listen to anyone else anywhere. Even if they have documentation, you still won't listen. Well, I hope you listen now, because you've put us all in a situation where people that should not have to worry are going to worry. People are starving to death while food that's already been paid for is rotting in warehouses. How does that make sense? If the stuff was already paid for and people are starving, little children are starving, and that food just sits in a warehouse. I don't care who you are. How could you be okay with children starving to death? Well, that doesn't matter. Let's talk about people in our country. Okay. The SNAP program benefits a lot of people, and the cuts to SNAP is going to be horrendous. The new things you have to do in order to get SNAP. Medicaid is going to be cut deep. Of course, you've seen that FEMA, what's going on there. And people will say, well, it was useless before. Useless before is better than nothing now. His own congressmen, his own senators, his own governors are begging for help. Don't care. I have not heard him address any of it, and I listen quite often. The problem with Trump voters is that some of you would not admit you were wrong, even if you were wrong about what's going on. He is taking bribes with other countries, aligning with countries that are terrorists. The airplane. He took a free airplane, but it's going to take billions of dollars to make it what it is, while we have some in the process right now. His huge parade. He'd much rather spend money on his parade than taking care of people in tornado victims. A $400 billion jet. It's going to cost a hell of a lot more than that to get it ready to be what he wants it to be. And then what? He gets to take it? I don't know how people are okay with this. Rural areas will lose hospitals. Nursing facilities, skilled long-term care nursing facilities will lose and close. You know, I saw what he did to Zelensky in the Oval Office, and that was a shame. That was a shame. That was so shameful. I was so embarrassed. I felt so bad for that man. You know, he's losing people in his country because Russia, Putin, has invaded him and refuses to stop. Refuses to stop killing people to gain Ukraine. And our president, he sides with Putin. I just can't understand how anybody that voted for that man can still stand on both feet, chest pumped out, proud, going, yes, that's what I've done. Oh, you've done it all right. Do you understand what the tariffs were? It really wasn't anything to do with our economics. You were told that. Do you realize that the tariffs were a way to engage to get Starlink into those countries? I guess the Penguins didn't want Starlink either, did they? They're sick in the head. They want they want all of the riches, and they want the peasants to just shush. Listen to what I say, and you'll be all right. Which you're not. You're not going to be all right. Red states are going to hurt. Rural areas are going to hurt really bad. What he did to Zelensky was bad, but then we have another Oval Office crazy bout, and that would have been with the South African president. The pictures that he showed and tried to talk about the genocide, those were in the Congo. That's like over 1,000 miles away from where South Africa is, or where some of the other stuff was at. I mean, the problem is that he's not running the show. Stephen Miller briefs him and goes, "This is what's going on. This is what we need to talk about." Blah 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 blah. Stephen Miller, the evil wormwood of the White House, he's running the show. Think what you might. The Heritage Foundation is getting all of their stuff through. All of the billionaires are getting their stuff through. And what's going on? The people that need the most are being hurt, starving, going without medical care. That's crazy. They're going to cut medical care. They've already cut cancer treatments. I mean, you've got someone that's leading the health department or whatever, and he swims in toxic water with his grandkids. He had a brain worm from eating raw meat, probably. And you know what he said in the congressional hearing? Well, people shouldn't take medical advice from me. What? Listen to Kristi Noem, and they ask her what habeas corpus is. And she says, well, that's a right that the president has. What? Are you kidding me? She's a puppy killer anyway. Some sick stuff. I worked in long-term care long enough to know that Medicaid covers a lot of therapies. You're not going to get any therapy. All the therapists will probably be fired because there won't be a need for them. Because if that's a Medicaid cut program, then you won't get your therapy. Better go in and see Granny and do her range of motion and walk her down the hall with her gait belt. Get her steps in. Skilled nursing care. What's that going to look like? What's it going to look like when nursing facilities go with the minimum amount of CNAs and then are allowed to cut them even more? Because I can tell you, as a CNA, when it was one CNA to 15 residents, that was rough. If we had a floater CNA, let me tell you, that one person going around to the other floors to help out helped a lot. But that won't be there. That will be cut. I mean, I can just only think of the things that they can cut out of nursing care, like QMAs, quality med assistants, which means these are not nurses, but they are qualified to pass out the meds, and that helps the nurse out so that she can do more of other cares and charting, because charting is very important. If you don't get your charting done, you're screwed. Activity funds, they won't have it. I mean, it was 13 cents a resident a day. And I had to figure out ways to have activities that didn't cost a lot. So I'm just very concerned. And I really wish that Trump voters who see exactly now that it's just a big game, it's a money grab, smoke and mirrors to those who only watch the magician. When you know the secret of the illusionist, it's not magic anymore. It's going to get bad. Because now we are proclaimed weak. We are weak. Our defenses is weak right now. Think about it. Pig Seth in charge? Holy moly. Kash Patel and his assistant, whatever. Gosh. And it's only just begun. Next will be when people start pressing. But what he's doing to Harvard, Rubio in a congressional hearing, taking away freedom of speech to people that have the right to have it. And with taking away the right of the freedom of speech, he also takes away their visas, their student visas, because they don't like what's going on. I don't like what's going on at all, because I've seen through the whole facade that it was people that got sucked up in the one tunnel vision of Donald Trump being a great businessman. You cannot run a country like a business. Employees are different than citizens. Of course, employees, you're going to hire the best, the brightest, probably the healthiest. When you're dealing with a country, there's unhealthy people, there's sickly people, there's old people, and you have to deal with them. They have to be cared for. Period. And taking away SNAP, lunches from kids, Meals on Wheels, Medicaid, Affordable Care Act. It's bad. Food pantries. And with taking away SNAP, you're going to have more people going to the food pantries, and they've cut the food pantry help. That's why I started the Blue Egg Project. Make sure that everybody gets eggs that I can in my area. I don't care if they voted for Trump or not, they still have to eat. Making trans people an agenda deporting people without due process, unconstitutional behavior, disregarding and federal judges, not listening, not doing it. Trump voters will hurt. Well, we will all hurt. I will hurt. One day you will have to admit you were wrong. And it may not be right now, it may not be next year. But at the end of this fiasco, you're going to see a lot more stuff come out that you need to know about. And the tariffs being a part of the Starlink connection. He made you think they needed to do tariffs. Here's the thing with the tariffs. He put them up so high, but he wants to get them down. Well, why the hell did you put them up there? Because it was just a play for Starlink. You'll have a great day. Hugs from a distance. My whole face was burning. That hot sauce was so hot. So I came out here, talked to you, and now I'm going to go drink some milk. You'll have a great day. Hugs from a distance. Take care of yourselves and whoever will need it.